Hello, this is a letter to Newcastle Magistrates Court regarding an escalated fine which has went from £35 to £300 regarding littering, which I am contesting on the following grounds. And the letter goes as follows. And by the way, this is after I was in court and they asked me to rise in respect of the Crown, which I said to the judge, I don't respect the Crown, so I won't be rising, I'm going to remain seated. He asked us twice. The second time I told him I was Republican, so please don't ask me to respect the Crown. I got contempt of court. But this is my response to the escalated fine, which they're going to start knocking on my door, apparently, on the 24th of February. So I've left it very late and I've dropped this letter into recorded delivery at the post office, and it goes as follows. At the top, failure to respond to these questions, I will consider the matter closed within 14 days. Newcastle City Council versus me. Environmental Protection Act 1990, Section 87. Divisional enforcement policy, ensure that our actions are proportionate to the risk. I argue, what risk? The enforcement officer picked up the paper, which I witnessed with my own eyes, the paper being biodegradable. Then what environmental risk was caused? This is simply extortion, in my opinion. The fine was disproportionate according to your own regulations. Regulations that I do not consent to as a man. Question 2. Any court claim must be done with an application form supported by an affidavit and a fee paid. Please provide a copy printout of all records from the computer database for the case number. The request is made in compliance of my statutory rights. CPR 542, supply of documents to parties including new parties. The documents should be supplied within 48 hours after a written request from them is received. CPR 541, supply of documents from court records. Any party to proceedings may be supplied from the records of the court with a copy of any documents filed before the claim was made or commenced also. The County Court Act 1984, Section 1, every court so held shall be called a county court of record and shall have a seal. Can you please provide all documents to me at my address? I request to see the application claim form and fee paid within 48 hours of receiving this letter. Question 3. Do you not realise that all your paperwork submitted to me has a false name on it? I do not know A, and they put the wrong name. I do, however, know A, which is my legal name, but I would prefer to be called Lee Monroe for personal reasons. So that is the name I will be using. Lee Monroe is the executive and beneficiary of the trust for my legal name. Can you explain to me why your notice of fine and collection order does not have a seal on it or a wet ink signature? Question 5. Can you explain to me who the victim is in this case, as you have a victim surcharge of £20 on your court papers? Question 6. Can you explain to me why you have capitalised my name on the paperwork? I am a man, not a corporation or legal fiction. I would go as and not capitalised. Question 7. Why does your paperwork not give me grounds for appeal? My side of this matter has not been heard, but yet I have been found liable without a fair trial. Question 8. Can I see the judge's ID, who dealt with me and my case on the 10th of February 2015? Me being a member of the public, and I assume he is a public servant, then this is my right. On your court summons, you report, this is question 9, you report in the offence section that I deposited litter, namely a penalty charge notice and a ticket bag. This is a complete fabrication of the truth and is a lie. And I only threw back the paper contract and never touched a ticket bag, as the officer never had time to issue it. The officer in question also lies in her ticket for littering, saying I ripped it up into 1,000,000 pieces. She also says I threw it to the ground. My recollection of it was that I threw the ticket at her, not to the ground. This is a gross exaggeration, making her belligerent and negligent. I also did not rip it up into 1,000,000 pieces. I ripped it up into 4 pieces, also a gross exaggeration. Can I see the video footage as evidence to prove the ticket bag was never touched by my hands and that I didn't rip it up into 1,000,000 pieces? Question 10. Can you prove to me the officer in question has the authority to issue fines to members of the public? The Environmental Protection Act 1990, paragraph 1, section 3A and section 94B states you need consent to distribute free printed matter. Question 11. Can I get a copy of the judge's insurance details? Should this matter escalate, then I may file charges for harassment, conspiracy to defraud, fraud, obstruction of justice, perjury, dereliction of duty, deception, treason, and wasting my time, which is valuable to me. Note, Fraud Act 2006, Section 4, if the court fails to provide the relevant documents requested, then this is fraud. Question 12. I may refer the matter to the Competition and Markets Authority, so can you confirm whether or not Newcastle and Tyndale Magistrates Courts are run for profit or government funded? I assume it is run for profit, as you have attached £82.50 cost to the notice of fine, which, if this court was government funded, then why am I paying costs twice? As a taxpayer, surely this court should be free, which also is my right under European Convention on Human Rights to a free trial. Question 13. What financial relationship exists between Newcastle City Council and Newcastle and Tyndale Magistrates Court? Any financial irregularities would suggest conflict of interest to my human rights regarding a free trial in an unbiased, impartial tribunal. Question 14. According to the Bill of Rights 1689, excessive fines imposed or unusual punishments inflicted and promises or fines or forfeits before conviction are void. The total cost of £302.50, I argue, is excessive to say the least. You threaten to take my goods, but they're not goods, it's property. Goods is a commercial term. This is a violent act, and this is contrary to why government was set up in the first place, to protect people's property. You threaten to arrest me even though I have not been found guilty of any crime, and I will freely appear in court without the need for arrest. You threaten me with removing my vehicle, which I am the lawful owner of, after I have met the finance payments on it. To remove a man's right or ability to travel is contrary to his natural inalienable rights and human rights. You threaten me with imprisonment. This is the most violent act you could threaten a man with. All of this is harassment in my eyes, and I will seek lawful remedy should this continue. Remember, this is a littering offence. Question 15. Was the court on the 10th of February 2015 a constitutionally convened court? The court being Newcastle and Tyndale Magistrates Court, Market Street. Were all present at the above court public trustees? Question 16. Question 17. Are you aware that every branch of Newcastle City Council is registered as a business on Dun and Bradstreet, which is an indicator of the performance of businesses? As a business, I question the authority they have to issue fines without prior written consent from me in the form of a signed contract. Question 18. Is the court using trust law? Who is the executive, who is the beneficiary, and who is the trustee if it does? If this is trust law and the court is the executive and the Crown is the beneficiary, this provides conflict of interest against me, as both parties stand to benefit from any guilty verdict and fine imposed. Question 20. What account would any liability clear into, and can you provide the information regarding the account, the holder, and the owner of the account? Question 21. Can I get full disclosure of any contract that gives the council the authority to penalise me? Being a man, I understand that without a contract, a corporation or government has no authority or jurisdiction without my consent. I hereby do not consent to any action taken against me in this case. Without a Question 22. Without a plea, has the judge made my plea for me? If so, can he provide proof I have given him power of attorney, without which the judge will be accepting liability? Question 23. Can the council prove I have caused them any financial loss whatsoever? Question 24. Is there any lawful reason why I cannot simply claim common law jurisdiction on this matter as a man, which removes me from the rules of the government or UK PLC? Question 25. Are you making profit from your actions? As public servants, then this is fraud. Statement and offer of remedy. I am happy to offer remedy regarding the incident of littering. As I do not feel I was littering, and this is not an admission of guilt, then in my opinion I was returning an unwanted contract that the officer would not accept back, so I threw it at her. I witnessed her pick it up before travelling off, so there was no risk to the environment, and the street itself was already littered. And I've already paid for them to pick all that up in taxation. As the officer did not use a plastic sticky cover, it would have blown away anyway upon exiting with my car. Before payment of £2 only, I request full disclosure of the law that binds a man to the regulations, statutes or acts of Parliament that I do not consent to through a contract. Can I also ask for confirmation of whether the case in question is a civil or criminal matter? It is my understanding that any magistrate's court has to be criminal, and for any crime to have been committed, there must be an injured party. If there is an injured party, can you tell me who this man or woman is? If this matter cannot be resolved in an honourable way, I, the plaintiff, will place this case before Queen's Bench. Once we get to Queen's Bench, I will press the record to be trialled by a jury of my peers. The offer of £2 only is my final offer. If you turn it down, this contravenes the Bill of Exchange Act 1882. Can you also send me the copy of the judge's oath of office or writ of commission and or bond? Was the judge under oath during the case in question? All Crown servants are duty bound to comply with their oaths of allegiance and office in obedience to our constitutional law. The coronation oath is unbroken, inviolate and intact. Yours without ill will, vexation or frivolity, with all natural and inalienable rights reserved. Lee Munro, in brackets John Doe, and legal fiction name also. Thank you. I will keep you posted on what happens next. Bye.